Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Evan back from mymoneymarathon.com. If you don't know, I'm a personal finance blogger on that website focused on getting beginner investors to start building wealth through investing. So if you're watching this video and you're keeping up with this YouTube channel, I'm going to assume that you're a content creator of some sort. And as a content creator, the success of your content is going to be hinged on things like views, likes, clicks, that sort of stuff, whether it's social media or video content like this or written content like a blog, whatever it may be. Now, in the beginning, you're almost certainly going to be getting 0 views unless you had a following beforehand. And these 0 views are going to be because nobody knows that your content exists, so nobody is going out and viewing it. I mean, that's where I'm at now. There are some days where my blog might get 10 views, and that's a pretty big and exciting day. But usually, I'm looking at 0 views too. And I'd be lying if that didn't sometimes allow things like self-doubt to creep in and lack of confidence over whether this whole blogging thing is really the right thing to do. And there are certainly times where I've wanted to rely and lean back on just focusing on my day job full time and not thinking about anything else and just taking advantage of that set salary and those set responsibilities. Okay, so the first mindset shift that's helped me is lengthening my time scales. Let's say it takes you 2 years to go from creating content in a vacuum to creating content that a lot of people absorb and actually allows you to quit your day job and turn this into your full-time gig. Well, let's say that you think of the point of view of yourself from 10 years from now. 10 years from now, you is going to look back on current you and laugh at how frustrated you get after such a short period of time. After 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, even 2 years of content creation, you're going to laugh at how frustrated we currently are because you're going to see the much longer and more important timeline towards your success in content creation. You're going to have the other 8 years of content creation look back on and how worth it was, how worth that beginning bit of grinding was. And so I look back on Evan 10 years from now and realize that he would be laughing at how frustrated I get now and how dejected I feel now. In reality, this frustrating beginning period is just going to be a blip of grinding on the radar of Evan 10 years from now. Alex Hormozy talks a lot about how very successful people, billionaires, think in very long time scales. They think in 10, 15, 20, even 30-year time scales instead of the normal 1 month, 6 month, maybe year-long time scales that most people think in. For me, personally, these longer time scales help me take the stress off of my current self to succeed in the short term because I realize that there's going to be a long-term decades and decades of future success and work and timelines ahead of me. Another mindset shift is to redefine success for yourself. The standard view of success in content creation is getting a certain number of views, a certain number of likes, or earning a certain amount of revenue from whatever content that you're creating. And the problem with this is that you're setting yourself up for failure. If you don't reach a full-time salary, if you don't reach 100,000 likes or whatever it may be, then you're going to see yourself as failing. Let's redefine success to mean succeeding where other content creators are failing. So where are other content creators failing? You could say that they're failing to create a full-time income from their content, but why? Usually, the reason behind the lack of success in content creation is a lack of consistency. Most people just flat out don't put in the long-term effort that it takes to see long-term gains and to see real success, the kind of success that they're aiming for from the beginning. I myself have put in a little bit of time creating website designs, creating cooking YouTube videos, and creating video game live streams, and all of that content failed in the short term. But the reason that I failed myself wasn't because I failed to earn any money from them. It was because I failed to put in the amount of consistent effort that was going to be required to actually see success there. Blogging, again, hasn't seen that short-term success that I was looking for. I mean, up to this point, mid-January 2023, I have earned 1 single penny from ad revenue on my blog, on my website, and I've earned nothing from YouTube up to this point. But would I see it as a failure? Absolutely not. I have been posting at least 1 blog post a week, usually 2 or 3 blog posts a week. I have been posting at least 1 YouTube video a week. I have content calendared out and keywords planned and that sort of stuff. I have been putting in a consistent effort that will build me towards long-term success in the future. Defining success in this way allows me to keep the control of my success in my own hands. I control whether I succeed or not. I'm not depending on external factors such as whether people happen to Google the keyword that I posted on this week or find this YouTube video and stumble upon it or whatever. I am defining success and putting it back in my own hands and my own control. Moving on, another powerful mindset shift is to think about your content creation as building a portfolio. Every piece of content that you put out into the world is going to stay out there indefinitely until you remove it in one way or another. So all that content is going to be sitting out there, building a portfolio of work behind your current work. So every time somebody sees a post on your website, for example, or a video on your YouTube channel, they're going to see your entire repertoire, your entire portfolio of videos and blog posts behind that. And that's going to increase your perceived reputability, your perceived trust that those viewers are going to have with you, and they're going to be much more likely to listen to you and want to continue consuming your content. So this really helps me when I think about blogging, even if I'm getting 0 views on a blog, because I realize that I am building up a repertoire, building up a portfolio so that people will perceive my future posts as more trustworthy and are more willing to continue liking the content or continue reading the content. So I'd just say to remember that every piece of content that you put out into the world is bolstering your businesses and your brand's portfolio and increasing your brand's perceived authority to future viewers. Even if it doesn't get any views immediately, or even if it never trends that highly, it will still be very useful to boosting your authority. All right, so the last mindset shift that we have is to think about your work compounding in a very similar way to the stock market. Think about the stock market. When you invest $100 a month into the market every month for a year, let's say, the returns that you're going to get on that investment is going to be very minimal. It's going to feel insulting for having even put in the amount of effort that you put in to get started in the market and automate those investments and all that sort of fantastic stuff. But the real magic of the stock market is that over the long run, years, decades and decades timeline, thinking about those long timelines again, the returns you earn from those small investments in the beginning are going to be huge. They're going to massively outpace the amount that you've invested, and suddenly you're going to have more saved up in your investment portfolio than you ever thought possible. It's the exact same with content creation. In the beginning, you may get 0 views on your content or very few views on your content, but once you gain a little bit of traction, those viewers are going to start compounding on each other. Once 1 or 2 viewers recommends the content to 1 or 2 friends, and they recommend it to 1 or 2 friends, all of your views are suddenly compounding. And then as you build more views, you're being perceived as more trustworthy, not only to your viewers, but also to whatever platform you're on, whether it's YouTube or Google search engine optimization and that sort of stuff. You're going to be perceived as more trustworthy, and therefore you're going to be much more likely to be recommended to future potential viewers. And over the long run, your views and your likes, whatever it may be, are going to compound more and more on each other. At some point in this process, the growth is going to be absolutely astounding, and it's going to massively outpace anything that you ever thought it could. But if you want to get to 1 million views, you have to start somewhere, and starting at 0 views is just a part of that process. Thank you so much for sticking around. I genuinely use these mindsets myself and focus on these mindsets literally daily to keep myself going and to keep myself motivated and focused on what really matters in this process. And I realize that I have a crazy future ahead of me that I can't even imagine, I can't even fathom at this point, and I'm extremely excited about that. And I'm just happy that you stuck around for that process along with me. If you're the kind of creator who's searching out content like this to improve your content, improve your process, then that indicates nothing but fantastic things about your future success and whatever content that you're creating. So I wish you the absolute best of luck possible, and I'll see you next time.